Alright guys, hello, welcome to ZooView. My name is Peter. I'm the educational coordinator here and one of our kind of general zookeepers. This is your first time, welcome, you're in for a great treat. If you're returning, thank you guys. We're trying to keep you guys with the zoo when we are closed. Just a reminder, unfortunately we are closed, but continue to pay attention to our website as well as social media, because we do want to be open as soon as we can for you guys, because we want you here as much as you want to come here. So today we are with one of the largest land mammals in the whole world, and it's going to be our giraffes. And this is a hot item because they are one of the newest animals to our zoo, and everyone who doesn't love a giraffe. They're one of the most iconic animals in the Africa savanna. Now we have reticulated giraffes here, and kind of giraffes as a whole can be as tall as 19 feet, and they can weigh 1,700 to almost 2,500 to 2,800 pounds, which is well over a ton. So they are the largest, least tallest land mammal out there. And we do have 3 giraffes here, Tucker, Bakari, and Spike, and we'll go into that in a little later. Now giraffes, they have some really cool body adaptations. And one of them is going to be the most iconic one, which is going to be that long neck. A lot of people think with such a long neck that they must have more bones in their body than we do, especially neck-wise. They actually don't. They have 7. And you know what other animal or organism have 7? Us humans. We actually have the same number of neck bones as giraffes. Ours may only be this big, while a giraffe's is that big. But we actually have the same number of neck bones, which is really cool. Another big thing with them is if this right here is our youngest one, which is Tucker. He sticks out his tongue here. His tongue is actually a purple, almost a blackish color. Here we got some fruit, actually some sweet potato. Oh, I know, I'm making you stick out your tongue. Oh, look at that. If you guys saw that, it's actually that purple, almost black hue. That's really important for them. These guys are herbivores, which means they eat leaves and plants at the top of the trees. If Austin kind of scans to our 2 other boys, they're eating acacia leaves on the trees. And they use those tongues as a tool. So they are prehensile. So I'll do Tucker here again. You see he actually wraps the end of his tongue around it. So that's what they use, is they use that prehensile tongue to actually grab food. Now they can eat almost 100 pounds of leaves and vegetation in a week, and sticking that tongue out a lot means they're exposed to a lot of sun. And being exposed to a lot of sun means they could get sunburned. So this dark pigmentation helps them to prevent getting sunburned. Just like how a lot of us humans have different skin complexions, some of us burn a little bit easier than others. With that dark skin pigment on their tongues don't actually burn because of how long they're actually stuck out, which is really important to them. Now, being 19 feet tall, though, they actually do have a hard time reaching things on the ground, like to drink. So they'll actually splay their legs out, and when they splay their legs out, they'll dip their heads down low to the ground. Now, imagine us being upside down for too long. We would get dizzy. They have a very special valve that stops excess blood flow going to their brain, which really helps them to prevent from getting dizzy and actually passing out. And with such a big animal, all that blood flow needs a lot of muscle to pump. So their heart is actually about 25 pounds, and they pump with such force, it's about double what a human's actual heart rate is. It's actually almost 280 over 160, which is double what a human could be. Now these guys are listed as endangered on the endangered species list, the reticulated giraffe specifically, and a lot of that is unfortunately due to habitat loss, due to poor agriculture, as well as illegal hunting from poachers. So there's a lot of measures to help these guys in the wild. There are specific game reserves to help these guys. There are game commission and wildlife officers to stop poaching, as well as special grounds to make sure these guys can survive with a healthy environment. They really like acacia leaves, so a lot of these countries will actually plant acacia trees to make sure they grow so they can have something to eat. So they're a really, really important part of our ecosystem. And the biggest reason why they're important is if you saw with Tucker's nose, he had some fuzzy stuff, kind of long little bristles on his nose. And those long bristles are really important because they can reach so high up on the trees. They reach a lot of leaves and flowers that many other... Oh, here comes Tucker back. If you look at those bristles, and his nose is very fuzzy. Think of this almost like a bee. How bees get pollen stuck to their nose, so do they. So they travel great distances, and all that pollen and other parts of the plant will actually catch on that nose, and when they go to different parts, it'll actually help spread. So they're really important to the African ecosystem by helping spread all of those pollen and leaves and things like that. Now, we have some very special hands here at the zoo to take care of these three boys, and that's going to be our Giraffe Keepers. And Becca and Sarah here are our two Giraffe Keepers here, and they will kind of take the next portion because it's these two that take care of those three. So ladies, take it away.
Thanks, Peter. So as Peter had mentioned, all three of our boys here at Lake Tobias are reticulated giraffes. Reticulated giraffes are primarily native to Kenya with small populations in Ethiopia and Somalia. You're able to identify a reticulated giraffe from another type of giraffe based on a couple of different factors. Their patterning is unique. So if you look at a reticulated giraffe as opposed to, say, a Rothschild giraffe, they're all going to have different patternings. And each one of their patterns is unique to every giraffe, just like a human fingerprint would be.
So our three giraffes, we have three males here. This little guy, as Peter said, is Tucker. He just turned a year old in December, and right now we think he's about 10 feet tall and probably close to 900 pounds. He was born in Connecticut. Actually, so is Spike. Spike's our oldest. He just turned 3 in March, and we're thinking he and Bakari are both between 13 and 14 feet tall and pushing close to 2,000 pounds right now. Bakari's the one to the left, and he was born in Virginia. He just turned 2. He's gonna come over and say hi. With these guys, their diet, as Peter said, in the wild, they primarily eat acacia and live off the vegetation. But here at the park, we feed them primarily a low-starch herbivore diet, which is it has all the key nutrients that they would need to stay healthy. We do give them, right now, Bakari and Spike are getting about 12 pounds a day, and Tuck's getting about 8 pounds of grain a day. They both also, we give them as much hay as they want, and then give them browse like acacia. They also like maple. There's a lot of different kinds of trees we can cut down and give to them. As well as special snacks like we're giving right now. This bucket we have bananas, sweet potatoes, carrots, and cucumbers, but they like a whole bunch of other stuff too. Or don't like it. They are all very picky. Some days they like stuff, some days they don't. And then when it comes to sleep, giraffes actually sleep very little. In the wild, giraffes typically sleep 30 to 60 minutes for very short bursts in a day. Here under human care, they do sleep longer. There's no threat to them in that laying down position, so it's not uncommon for us to see them laying down outside or taking a nap at nighttime.
So as the Giraffe Keepers here at Lake Tobias, Sarah and I do stay very busy doing a number of different things around here. We do take care of cleaning and maintaining the barn and the outside habitat for the giraffes. We also feed and water them daily. And a large portion of our time is spent training with them and creating different enrichment items to kind of simulate their natural behaviors. So as you can see, Spike is eating some acacia leaves off of that big umbrella-like system. That is actually attached to a pulley. So we are able to raise and lower that, and as the boys grow, we can raise that higher and higher so that they're simulating that natural behavior of stretching their neck, trying to graze from different materials like those leaves. That's one of the main reasons that we do not actually have trees out here in the field. If we were to have trees, these boys would strip the leaves bare within a matter of a couple of days. So we are able to constantly replenish that with different types of browse as well as unlimited hay. As I mentioned, we do have a couple of different enrichment items that we have made for the boys. So these are just a few of their absolute favorite toys. So this is something for them to kind of lick at and use their mouth to play with. There are beans inside that make a noise. And this spoon feeder is probably their absolute favorite toy. On occasion, as a really special treat, we'll smooth some peanut butter on there and the boys will lick it off. Again, we do a lot of training with them. So you'll notice that a portion of the habitat has stones on it, and that's to work on their hooves. So as a hooved mammal, their hooves are going to continuously grow, but instead of having to trim those hooves very frequently, we have stones on here to pretty much wear those hooves down. Despite that, there is a good chance that in their older age, they might have some problems with arthritis and different issues like that. So we have been working with them, and at this point in time, all three of the giraffes are trained to step up onto a block and allow us as their keepers to manipulate each and every one of their hooves and pick them, and if need be, we would be able to trim them in that manner. So another one of the boys' favorite enrichment items that they love to do is to paint with us keepers. Sarah is actually going to head down and we're going to demonstrate one of their paintings, which is going to be a kiss painting. So this is done by sprinkling a natural powdered food coloring onto a canvas, and we'll then sprinkle some grain on top of that. And they'll just use their tongues to eat that, and that actually creates a beautiful painting. So we'll see who wants to participate today. Usually Tucker and Bakari are very, very eager to do so.
So as you guys get that ready, how can you tell the difference between the two? Obviously Tucker's smaller,
Yeah.
but between Bakari and Spike, they kind of look similar. How can you guys tell the difference?
So if you look at them, Spike is slightly larger than Bakari is, although Spike is a year older, so we are expecting Bakari to surpass him in height. So the easiest way is by looking at their ossicones. If you look, Bakari's ossicones almost point outward in a V shape, whereas Spike's curve inwards.
And real quick, what's an ossicone?
So an ossicone is that horn-like protrusion on the top of their head. And additionally, like I had mentioned previously, all of their patterns and spots are unique to all of the giraffes. So as you get to learn them, and as you get to know them a little bit more, you'll be able to tell who is who.
Okay, so this is what it looks like. We're gonna let, Spike doesn't like to do this. We're gonna let Bakari. They really, really love their grain, so that's one of the easiest training tools for us to use. They're always willing to do work for their grain.
And as Peter had mentioned prior, reticulated giraffes are listed as being an endangered species on the IUCN Red List. So that means that their populations have been declining out in the wild. They've actually declined as much as about 40% over the past few decades. And so with these paintings, we actually have been selling them through Facebook, and all proceeds are going to the Giraffe Conservation Foundation.
I believe these are some of them, right?
Some of the other ones, yep. So that hoof print was made by Spike. He used his back left foot, we put that one on. And that was a Tucker painting that he did with his mouth. And then, what else you got? Those were brush ones that Spike did.
Wow, so you giraffes can got all sorts of Picasso and Da Vinci's.
They're quite the little artists, but they enjoy it. It's also a good way for us. It's a good way for us as their keepers to be able to bond with them.
And where can somebody find one of these paintings?
So we have the information on our Facebook page as well as our website. you can just call our Lake Tobias Park office to place an order.
All right, and you did say World Giraffe Day is coming pretty soon, right? In June, right?
That is correct. It is on June 21st, which is ironically the longest day of the year.
It's fitting because they're the longest, tallest animal out there.
Absolutely.
All right. So as we have our paintings there, we are going to open up for the questions for you guys, for any questions you have. So Jan, I would assume that we have a lot because these are some of the people's favorite animals in the whole world. So what do you have for us?
Okay, the first question I have is, why is it all males here?
Oh, I did mean to talk about that. So typically in the wild, you're going to find bachelor herds as well as breeding herds. So we have a bachelor herd. These are all young males. They're not of breeding age yet right now. So they're very content to live as a group of all boys. The other option would be a breeding herd, which would be one male and a whole bunch of females.
What is the life expectancy?
So out in the wild, the typical age for a giraffe would be somewhere between about 10 and 15 years. Occasionally you'll see giraffes in the wild living a little bit longer than that. But under human care, you'll see giraffes living upwards of about 30 years. That's because they don't have to worry about any natural predators such as hyenas, lions, humans. And they also have access to constant veterinary care. So we give them vaccines. Like I said, we're able to work with their hooves and everything like that to prevent any health issues.
Do they have different personalities?
Absolutely. They couldn't be more different. Tuck's a little bit shy. He's the baby, so he kind of holds back and he stays close to me and Becca. He's not quite as comfortable with everybody else. Bakari's definitely the most outgoing. He really likes to be around people. He likes to be close. He's definitely the goofiest. He's the funniest. Just like that. Probably got paint on my face now.
And it's neat too. Sarah and I have been here with the boys since they've arrived here at Lake Tobias. And so as they've aged and grown older, we've kind of gotten to see their personalities develop, and we've gotten to see them kind of grow into their own beings.
He's a woman.
Noah is 7 years old. He missed the part where you told him how old they were.
So Bakari on the left is about 2 years old. Spike in the middle is about 3, and Tucker, the little nugget over here, is just over 1 year old.
Brianna wants to know, when does a giraffe stop growing taller?
So typically by ages 4 to 5, they will reach their maximum height. Again, as Sarah said, males can grow upwards of about 18 to 19 feet tall. So all of our boys have at least a couple more feet to grow. Females won't quite be as tall as that. They'll be between about 14 and 15 feet tall.
Caitlin's asking, who are their biggest predators in the wild?
Good question. Yep, so for adult males, lions would be the main predators, but for sub-adult giraffes, as well as the young babies, they'll face other predators such as hyenas, wild dogs, crocodiles. And again, as Peter said, humans are a huge threat to these guys with illegal poaching.
Todd wants to know how they defend themselves from those animals.
So their biggest form of defense is going to be with their legs. The main thing they can do is kick, and so they'll use their front legs to kick, and that has actually been known to deter predators such as a lion.
Bailey is 10 years old and wants to know if they run.
Very quickly. The giraffes can run about 30 miles an hour, but only for a very short time. They actually kind of look like they're running in slow motion.
Yeah. They cover so much ground.
So much ground. Their legs are very long, but they don't move. They look like they're not moving very quickly.
And I have Jack here, age 6, wants to know if they mind the cold in the winter here in Pennsylvania.
They do.
Yeah.
We keep their barn at 65 degrees all year round. In the winter, it stays warmer, but we do have temperature regulations for them. They can only be outside if it's above 50 degrees and not raining or snowing or too windy. They don't like it. If we put them out and they're not happy, they'll stand by the door until we let them come back in.
Sandy wants to know how long their tongues are. Not sure if Peter answered that before.
21 inches. I didn't. I meant to say it. So much cool things, but about 21 inches.
Do you want to get that back? We were told that for every foot tall a giraffe is, that's how many inches long their tongue can be. on average, they're about a similar equivalent. So Spike's tongue is probably close to about a foot long right now. I don't know if he'll stick it out, but that's pretty long. No, of course not.
Yep, that's it. All right. Thank you, ladies, for that. Thank you, boys. Awesome. You know, one of the probably coolest animals that we have here. They're the most iconic. As always, connect, protect, and change. Especially with these guys. You know, they're the most iconic animal. Becca went over and Sarah went over that. You know, these paintings. These proceeds, we do donate that back to the giraffe conservation and world conservation for these guys specifically. So even though you don't think you have a big role in saving these guys, you actually do. A lot of that also, same thing with a lot of animals, is proper ecotourism. You know, you can go and volunteer and help these guys out. If you do travel to Africa, make sure you don't buy any giraffe products or any other exotic animal products to make sure that poaching doesn't continue as well. So thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, ladies, again. Thank you, boys. Continue to re-look at Facebook and our website. Like I said, fingers crossed, we should be open hopefully sometime in the very near future in early summer, as all goes to plan. And continue to view our zoo views, all right? So thank you guys and have a good week.